Dear students, welcome back to online classes by Naser Irfan. This time around, in this lecture, we are going to discuss a very important, a very beautiful poem composed by Faiz Ahmed Faiz, and the poem is Speak Up. It's actually for class 10th, and it is going to be very, very important poem from the examination perspective as well. As far as the poet is concerned, Faiz Ahmed Faiz was actually an Urdu poet who was born in Sialkot in 1911. Sialkot, the then in Pakistan, now in Pakistan. Actually, we can say the modern Urdu poetry was incomplete. In fact, is incomplete without him, without his contribution, as he was one of the greats of his times. Faiz Ahmed Faiz, as already said, was born in Sialkot. Modern poetry is said to be, especially modern Urdu poetry, is said to be incomplete without the contribution of Faiz Ahmed Faiz, because he was one of the greatest figures as far as the Urdu poets of his times were concerned. At the time, at his peak, when he was a young guy, when he was a good poet, when he started to develop a good poet, he used to be a journalist and a broadcaster, and so was a famous figure during the British rule. Being journalist and being broadcaster, he was very much moved by the suppression of British cruel rulers, and so he fought for the rights of the poor, and for his contribution towards literature, his social services. He was nominated, he was in fact twice nominated for Nobel Peace Prize. As far as this poem Speak Up is concerned, Speak Up is taken from Faiz Ahmed Faiz's collection of poems Naqsh Faryadi, which was published in 1941. So we can say the poem Speak Up is written somewhere before 1941, written during the final phase of cruel British rulers, where poor were suppressed, and so Faiz Ahmed Faiz started supporting and started talking about the rights of the poor people, helping them. As Faiz Ahmed Faiz believed, there should be a classless society. There should be no high, no low, no rich, no poor, no higher caste, no lower caste. So he was of the opinion that there should be a classless society and everybody should be treated equal, without having bias on the basis of some meaningless differentiations. His poetry is an emblem of humanism, a mark, a landmark, a symbol of humanism, because he used to write for the poor people. He used to fight, in fact, for the poor people, for the rights of the poor people. He was deeply touched by the poverty-stricken people during British rule, when Indian people were treated badly. They were not given the higher posts. They were only mean to acquire the low-profile jobs. And then Speak Up is one of the beautiful poems that is to express, to defy that oppression, to oppose that oppression. In fact, it was an effort to give courage to the courageless. It was, in fact, it was an effort to give courage to the feared people, and it was supposed to give voice to the voiceless, who used to fear, who were afraid of talking about or having their rights, who were not able to talk about their rights. So let's discuss the poem in some detail and then read the poem as well. The poem says, Speak up, for your lips are not sealed and your words are still your own. This upright body is yours. Speak while your soul is still your own. Look there in that smithy. Its red on fire's flames. The padlocks are already opening their mouths, and each fetter is skirting around. Speak up now, for time's running out. Before your body and mind fade away, Tell us, for truth is not dead yet. Speak whatever you have to say. Let me discuss it in some detail again. Speak up, for your lips are not sealed, and your words are still your own. This upright body is yours. Speak while your soul is still your own. In this stanza, the poet Faiz Ahmed Faiz says, speak up, for your lips are not sealed. He requests his countrymen, he calls upon his countrymen, he calls upon the people of India that they should speak what they want to speak. They have their own lips. Your lips are your own, for your lips are not sealed. They have not been stopped from speaking something, and your words are still your own, and they have the power. They have not to borrow lips from others to speak. They have their own lips. They have upright bodies. They have their own lips, and the words they have are their own. They are not supposed to bring it from others. They are not supposed to lend them from others. This upright body is yours. He requests, he urges, he calls upon us, calls upon Indians at the time that this upright body, this strong body is yours. It's not somebody else. Speak while your soul is still your own. He says to the people, he requests to the people that this soul is your own, this life is your own. Why are you not getting up and speak? He requests people to speak up against the oppression of the British rulers and fight for their rights. Look there in that smithy, its red on fire's flames. The padlocks are already opening their mouths, and each fighter is skittering around. In this stanza, the poet Faiz Ahmed Faiz makes us understand, he wants us to understand that look there in that smithy. Smithy means the smith's shop. Actually, he wants us to realize the smith's shop, to realize the environment within the smith's shop. Actually, he compares the whole India, whole British rule to the smithy, to that smith's shop. It's red on fire's flames, where there are red fire's flames. The padlocks are already opening their mouths. Here, the smithy, the blacksmith shop, stands for the situation the freedom fighters have created for the freedom of their motherland. The red one and fire's flames stand for their boiling courage. There is courage inside them, but they are not able to reflect it. They are not supposed to reflect it. They are afraid of reflecting it. The padlocks are already opening their mouths. The padlocks, the chains and fetters are the symbols of slavery. The chain, the padlocks, the fetters are the symbols of slavery. He wants us to break those chains and to say something in favor of your country, in favor of your rights, against the oppression of the British rulers. Speak up now, for time is running out. Before your body and mind fade away, tell us, for truth is not dead yet. Speak whatever you have to say. Here, the poet wants to say, he calls upon his countrymen to speak now or it will be too late, because the time is running out. We are wasting the precious time before your body and mind fade away. He says us that the time is running out before your body, before your mind fades away, before it becomes unable to speak. Tell us, Fadroth is not dead yet. When you are able to speak, when your body is yours, when your mind is yours, why are you not speaking up? Speak up, because this time around everything is there for you and it's yours. Speak whatever you have to say. He urges deeply, forcefully, that in order to break those chains, in order to achieve freedom for India, you have to come up, you have to struggle, you have to fight, you have to speak. In fact, the whole beautiful poem is about the freedom struggle of India, where he urges his countrymen to come up, to speak, to fight, because they have got the body, they have got the mind, they have got the strength, and the situation is ripe, the situation is sound, the situation is profound, as it has been created by the freedom fighters, and now we only have to follow the path and to support them, so that the British cruel rule may get vanished, may be ended. As far as the central idea or the theme of the poem is, this poem is written before 1941, when in India there was a British rule. The British were cruel rulers and oppressed Indians. They were, as already discussed many times during the lecture, they were cruel rulers and they were hard on Indians. They suppressed Indians. Indians had not the courage to speak against the British rule because they were suppressed. They were afraid of the cruelty of those British rulers. So Faiz tried to ignite and fill their hearts with courage. Actually, it was an effort by Faiz Ahmed Faiz to ignite, to awaken the people of India to fight for their rights, to show some courage, to support the other freedom fighters who are already fighting for it. He said, they have body, lips, soul, and should use them all against British oppression. He requests Indian people, he requests his countrymen to come up and support the freedom fighters in order to get freedom for India. Only then the fetters of slavery or the chains of slavery can be broken in order to make our Indian people free. In the poem, as I have already read, there were poetic devices used. These all have some dual identifications there. Smithy, the blacksmith's shop, refers to the situation the freedom fighters have created for the freedom of India. This smithy or the smith shop has been used as image as well as metaphor over here, as this has been directly compared to the situation created by the freedom fighters within India against the British rulers. The red one and the fire's flames stand for the boiling courage. Chains and fetters reflect our slavery, which are to be broken. So red one and the fire flames have been compared to the boiling courage. These have been used as metaphors over there, and chains and fetters reflect our slavery. There, these are also used as metaphors over there in the poem, which reflect the slavery of Indian people to the British rulers. Simply, they reflect the struggle of freedom in a symbolic way. Simply, we can say the metaphors like smithy, the red oven, the fire's flames, chains and fetters, they have been used as the symbols to reflect the struggle of Indian people against British rulers.
अगर आपको हमारा ये वीडियो पसंद आया है तो इसे लाइक और शेयर जरूर कीजिए, और हाँ, हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब और फॉलो करना मत भूलिएगा।